Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Truth Carpet. I am Unique Love, and I'm here with my best friend, Betty Boop. She is that girl, you see her, but fresher, more popular, more bestie, Westie is my bestie.
From the West.
From the Westie. Your reaction threw me off, and it reminds me of the meme that you sent me. What was that this past weekend that you sent me when it said when somebody else say that your best friend? Yeah, and then they was moving a little hand. We gotta post it on our Instagram.
I'm like, what you talking about? Because your best friend can't hear it. Be like that.
But that's how it really be. It's like, no, that's my best friend. Like you can't share. Like we can't share. I mean, you can't share.
You don't have your own best friend?
It just kind of makes me feel weird inside.
That part.
Is it jealousy? I don't know.
It could be. I don't know.
But anyway.
Just saying. Welcome to the show, y'all. It is I, Monie, aka Mo to the E to the, and we are in season 3, episode 9.
Yes.
Good, feeling fine.
Wow. I'm proud of us.
The switch up be real, yo. Like.
Right. I got this. Did you have a bun last time? I had my curly hair last time.
One of these episodes, but I'm like, I brought out Roxy. Say hi to Roxy.
Hey, Roxy. And to the plants that we don't remember the name. I don't remember the name.
Thing 1, thing 2, and thing 3.
Yes. But anyway, we're here with another episode. Wow, we are in June 2022.
Right, it's June now.
I remember like staring at the calendar, like, okay, which days I'm going to take off, because it's been a while since I took vacation time off. So, just like planning my year out. But like, I'm like, dang, we're here already.
Girl, you calling for a vacation? I'm calling for the last day of school. Countdown, the final countdown until summer vacation.
Dang, yeah, time is flying by. There has been some good things going on this year. There has been some not so great things going on this year, but just looking forward to things to celebrate. I remember meeting with my director, and we were talking about like stress, things that we're going through, like feeling overwhelmed with work and everything. And one of my coworkers was like really going through it, with just the workload that we had at that time. As well as, like different things that's going on in her life. And I kept coaching her. She wasn't listening, but I kept coaching her to learn how to say no.
Yeah.
We have, a role that we play, but we're not super women. And this is why we don't take conferences on Fridays. And we only try to take at max 2, because there's so many things that we're taking on regarding other people's traumas and things that they've experienced. And then you have your own stuff as well too. So like, for example, this isn't her story, I'm just making this up, but like, imagine if you just, I'm trying to think of something that's not too traumatic, but the first thing that came to my mind was IPV. Like somebody could come to work with the biggest smile on their face and, look so beautiful and everything and put together, but they just got punched in the mouth before they got to work by their partner. And then going through a conference with your client and they're talking about IPV, and you got to like keep a face, like a stoic face on, and not like cry and not, I mean, it's okay to cry, but it's not about you. This is about the client. So we go through so much, even if it's not something that you personally endured or anything, you still have to be able to breathe, take a beat, and, go on with the day. So just learn how to say no and learn how to like delegate your calendar. That's one of the beautiful things about my job is we get to say what our schedule looks like.
Yeah.
So with that, like, just don't be a yes man person to everybody. They know the rules of when they're supposed to submit their request and everything like that. And your schedule. That's the beautiful thing of managing it. So anyway, I, during that meeting, told them, well, my best friend told me to just always have something to look forward to. So I just always,
She said in her meeting that her best friend told her.
Yes,
not Betty Boo. No.
Yeah, I was just like, my best friend told me to just all these things that I have going on are moments to look forward to. So it's like I'm working in order to get to that weekend where I have something planned, or get to that vacation and I have something planned to live forward to. But at the same time, in those small increments, have something else, like I'm just getting back into the gym or reading a book, just certain treats, so to speak, to work for. But that don't mean stress yourself out. So
girl, let me tell you, because baby, I need to practice what I preach. Not that I don't give myself things to look forward to, but there's plenty things that I have planned, especially when summer officially hit. Like I have so many things that I want to do, especially when it comes to fully exploring New York, because I don't feel like I really had a chance to do that. Y'all, I've been here almost a year and still haven't been to Central Park. So that's like, right. So that's like one of the things that's definitely at the top of my list, taking my camera, going out,
can I go?
Pictures. Yes, you can.
Oh,
absolutely.
Hopefully I'm not worried, because I know you probably want to go during the day. But that would be dope, because I've never been inside either, I don't think. So I've seen it on the news.
Definitely give myself things to look forward to. But the reason why I say I need to practice what I preach is because sometimes I forget that I have things to look forward to. Because sometimes in the moment when it's so frustrating, I'm going through something, it's like, damn, I really don't want to do this right now. I wish I wasn't going through this right now. But it's like, look, you sometimes you just got to go through certain things to get to the next chapter, the next phase. You got to get through the obstacle in order to see like the fruits of your labor. You know? So I have to remind myself of that. Like, I'm not doing what I'm doing for nothing. I'm working towards greater goals that are bigger than what's in front of me right now. So sometimes I just have to endure the process. You know, I got to trust the process and everything that comes along with that in order for me to continue elevating and growing into the person that I'm meant to be. So I have those things that I'm looking forward to, but in those moments where I forget about the things I'm looking forward to, I need to remind myself of that. So maybe I need to keep a little piece of something around, or put a little post-it up or something at work, or a picture of where I know I'm going one day or something like that. Like just a subtle reminder, you know, that I always see it. Like, so it's kind of like when you wake up in the morning and you have like a note on your mirror or something like that. I'm thinking of keeping something close beside me while I'm at work, to keep something near my desk. And maybe change my screensaver. That'll help too. Like, you know, the beach that I want to visit, the country or something I want to visit like that. And then also too, we should all do this together. Because we're going through the year. It's June, so it's the 6th month, which means we have 6 more months to go. And I like to always say, like, I have a ritual of saying, like, my next 6 months will be my best 6 months, like an affirmation of constantly reminding myself, like, as I continue growing and glowing, like, good things are going to continue to happen. Also with an understanding that there's other things that might try to deter that, but
or change the timeline.
Exactly.
It's okay if it slows you down.
Exactly. So, you know, check that information, y'all. I literally wrote that on my wall on my whiteboard before I moved to New York. It was my next 6 months will be my best 6 months. I think I first wrote that, it was either February or March. And within that time frame, I had got a job out here, moved, all the stuff. And then before I moved to New York, my other affirmation was, let my helpers find me. Because I knew when I was moving, I was going to be in a new environment, new people, new space, new opportunities to learn about myself. But I also know, like, I couldn't do this journey alone. So aside from me having like just a couple people here that I already know, Yaya, my sister Ardea, but it's also a matter of like me having a new job and getting to know those people, and like just exploring and networking with different things that I want to do. So, and I feel like I have so far, you know, have found that. So we gotta hone into those affirmations, that you truly have to believe what you're saying. So say it with me, y'all. My next 6 months
will be my best 6 months. My next 6 months will be my best 6 months. My next 6 months will be my best. Is that the name of the podcast episode? We'll see. I like that. I like that. And I love the affirmations too. Like before I shared when Monie will give affirmations, I will post it on my bulletin board, because you need those. Well, I can't speak for everyone. I need those to get through just a day, or sometimes just an hour of the day, just to stay positive, because there's so many things that can put you into the slump. I like the idea too of posting things that you have to look forward to, because it's that reminder right in your face. But I'll probably do that at home, maybe, because, you know, just the thought of people looking or asking questions about, I don't know.
You can do your screensaver, like you know, a beach or something, like a country you plan on visiting. Ooh, one thing that my job does have is like on the screensaver, it's automatically set to like show you different places. I think this is how the computer is set up. So sometimes I'll see something like, oh, that's pretty, and I click on it and it'll tell me like what country it's in.
Oh, cool.
So I'll save it as my favorite. So when the screensaver is doing it, like it'll show me like those places that were my favorite.
Oh, that's dope.
I gotta visit that place. I'm like, nice.
Yeah.
So yes,
I like that.
Screensaver.
Anything else going on with you? Anything you want to share with the people?
You know, just grateful for life, honestly, that still here, living, breathing, still have a purpose. We all still here, even y'all that's listening, we all have a purpose. So hone into that, live and breathe life into yourself each and every day. Wake up, getting out of bed. You know, even if you're just putting on your shoes and going outside for a few minutes, like we have to remember to love ourselves, even when times get rough. Okay.
Right. That part. That's it for me.
And that is it for me. So you know what that means. It's time for me to give y'all the rundown for today's show. So heading on over into the icebreaker today, we are going to be discussing from the last episode, that task card we had. Y'all didn't listen to episode 8, which was fire, by the way. We're going to be continuing the task card from the deck that we had and discussing how that worked out for us. Then heading on over to Suite 223, your girl Monie is going to be reading a poem about Black kings dedicated to the Black men out there. So stay tuned for that one. Y'all gonna love it. And then we are heading on over to the Café hot topic segment. Glass of wine is already ready. We are going to be discussing the relationship with our fathers. Father's Day is coming up, so it's only right that we talk about the relationships that we have with them. You know, the good, the bad, the better. It's all going to be detailed in that segment. Fathers, I know y'all are listening, so can't wait to hear what y'all think about this episode. And then we're going to go over into the dorm story segment, and we're going to talk about our favorite memories that we have with our fathers. And then last but not least, in the announcement segment, I always say there's always something for you to know. So stay tuned to the end, all the way to the end, so that you can find out what we have for you, whether it's a sale, know what our question of the month is, how you can win a prize, just knowing what we have in store for y'all, just things to look out for. That's why it's called the announcement, y'all.
Yeah.
All right. So without further ado, we are heading on over to the icebreaker segment. Hey.
I don't know where I'm getting this from. Oh. Shh. Hey y'all, this is our icebreaker segment for our podcast, episode 9. And we are going to touch on what we pulled from last week, which is an action card about getting something off of your chest, but in a loving way.
In a loving way. And for those of you that did not listen to the last episode, we pulled this card from the impact deck created by Best Self Company. They have a bunch of different types of deck, and this one was the impact deck, and we chose an action card. And now we are back here to give you how that worked out. A response to our action. Right.
Yes. So and if you didn't listen to the last episode, this was a random card that we pulled. So it wasn't like we went through the deck and said, oh, let's do this one. But this was something that we shuffled the cards and we were told by the cards to in a nice way get something off of our chest. So you want to start, Monie?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
So when we first pulled the card, I definitely thought, who and what? Who would I say it to and what would I say to them? And then it dawned on me after a few days, after going through a certain situation, and I really wish I could go into detail, but I don't want to get in trouble. So I'm just going to skate across the surface and say that I realized that when speaking to certain people, no matter how you say it, no matter how much of a loving way you try to say it, the message just doesn't get across. And to this person that I was speaking to, maybe one day I can say whom, but as of today I cannot. But in regards to the person that I was speaking to, it just didn't come across that they understood why I was saying what I was saying. They tried to make me feel as if I was, what's the word that I want? Less than or not smart enough, as if I had made a mistake when I did not, So it just seems
So
like
belittling you, kind of.
Exactly. Thank you. That's the great word to use, belittling me. And in my head, I'm thinking, now I know for a fact that me taking the time to even bring up the situation and want to just speak to you in a way of understanding why you did what you did and why you said what you said, but you're pretending as if it didn't happen, that bothers me.
Yeah.
That bothers me. Like, well, what are you talking about? What do you mean? You know exactly what I'm talking about. And you're trying to play it off as if it's nothing.
Yeah.
It's something because I'm bringing it up and I would like to discuss it. But it kind of didn't work out in my favor.
You started off with a specific way of saying that sometimes the message can't get through to the person. Mm-hmm. I forget exactly what your language is. If you're listening to the podcast, and Yaya, you're probably listening to, which is me, so I like to listen back. It may be the same wording, but the message may not be received. I would say it that way, opposed to it not getting across, because I wasn't in the room with you when you took on this task for that person. So I don't want to blame you for not delivering the message in the correct way, but it could be that person too, that they weren't receptive of that message. Mm-hmm. Or that a lot of times when we're having conversations with people, humans prepare themselves for a response as a defense mechanism, opposed to actually hearing what the person is saying, letting it sit in. Especially like, I think Cali is the same way, but especially like the East Coast, the tri-state area, we're so fast with everything. And then when it's a little inkling of silence, it's like we get impatient, or it kind of feels weird. Like, even if you think of the nature of the streets, it feels comfortable for some people to hear ambulance and noise and stuff for them to sleep comfortably. It's opposed to like, if you live somewhere else, you need silence for that. So the same thing could be in conversation. If that person was possibly just like a guinea pig or a hamster on the wheel, preparing for a response or preparing to divert from what you were saying to get to where they wanted to be. They weren't ready, possibly, which is unfortunate, and which sucks, because I know as a person who probably didn't want to say anything at all, it took you some time to prepare this and to get yourself comfortable to say something, and then for it to go that way, it's like, well, what the fuck? Like, I could have just kept that to myself.
Right. I felt like that too, and I was like, you know what, but I'm still proud of myself.
Yeah, I'm proud of you
for
too.
Actually saying something and figuring out for myself how it could come off. I mean, how to say it in a loving way, so I didn't come off as like rude or like trying to pressure somebody to give me an answer.
Yeah.
I just want an understanding and make sure that we are on the same page. That's all.
Snap it up for Mo to the
because it was hard for me, y'all.
For this assignment, it was kind of hard because I didn't really know what I needed to get off of my chest, period. Like, I feel like, I mean, I've been in therapy for a year now, consistently, like without breaking up with my therapist and getting a new one. And with that, I've learned to, it took a while, but I've learned to be open to the idea of communicating what I'm feeling, opposed to shutting down, which is comfortable for me. But regarding this assignment, it was like, I don't really got no beef going on. I don't really have anything drama related that I need to share. But something that I did do differently and that I had to share in a loving way was after going, me and Monie went on a trip and something traumatic happened during that trip. And in the heat of it, I didn't feel anything. I guess like the adrenaline was going, and I'm just like a mother, like making sure everybody else is okay. So when asked by one of the persons in a party meaning group of people, if we were okay, the instant reaction was, yeah, I'm okay. I'm worried about everybody else. I'm okay. I'm not injured. I'm okay. But then I noticed when it was time for me to separate from a person that I love, and that person checking on me, just, hey, let me know when you get home. This and this is happening, blah, blah, blah. Going into work the next day kind of made me feel uncomfortable. And I noticed that I wasn't the giddy Yaya or Unique coming into the office and cheerfully saying good morning to everybody and putting on a podcast or music to help me go with my day. I can't say I felt down, but I just felt like my body was at work, but I wasn't at work.
I know exactly what you mean.
And typically, I would just be there, and whatever people think, they think, whatever people say, they say, I don't care. But in the past, that has not gone well because rumors start of this person must be going through that, or this person must be feeling this, or this person feels some type of way about me because when I asked this, they responded this way, not thinking about what I'm actually going through or what I actually feel. And it's not you, it's like something that I'm dealing with. So I took it upon myself to, first step was to ask someone if they had time, if they would, if they could speak with me so I can like speak to somebody, because I didn't have a therapy session until a little over a week. So I just needed to speak to somebody. But then the second one was, instead of that day, that person was available the next day. And I was like, okay, I'm at work crying. I'm at work, like, not want to be bothered by anybody. So I had to send an email, which I didn't want to do. Like, I didn't want nobody to know nothing. I just try to keep it as broad as I could. But then the second email, I was like, hey, this happened to me. This is happening overall. This happened to me this weekend. So if you see my door closed, or if you see that I'm not behaving in my typical manner, just know that this is what I'm dealing with, kind of thing. And that's not my norm, because I like to keep, like, with my friends and everything, like, I just keep a private world with me, especially if it's something like that you would think that you need a shoulder to lean on. Like, I got my own shoulder, I could like lay on it kind of, but kind of get a crook in your neck. So it felt good to let them know that, because then in response, they were like, if you need anything, if you need to take a day off, if you need somebody to talk to, then don't feel, like you can't say anything to us. We're here to support you in that way. And then the next day, that person, like, I remembered that, hey, I told this person I'm free starting at 2. But I'm not gonna say anything. But that person at 2:15 was like, "Oh, hey, sorry I was so busy, but I remembered to call you," and that kind of like helped me through that. So that was something that was to get something off my chest, because if I didn't do that, I would have kept it to myself. And that was something that I normally wouldn't do. So that was like a big task for me. But then at the same time, I did it without thinking about the card, because I guess I felt like I needed it, and I didn't want to go back into a pattern that typically happens at the workplace.
Yeah, I think it's honestly very commendable of you to send, like, in a work environment, an email of that magnitude, to just let people know, like, hey, if you notice XYZ, it's because of XYZ. So it's not, like, to be that open and expressive in the work environment. Like, someplace you're not able to, to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And then to receive, like, the generosity and responses that you did receive, it wasn't a matter of, like, shaming you in any type of way, it was more so it was love in that.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that's big in itself. I think that's definitely completing the task. It was most definitely in a loving way, like, this is what happened, blah blah blah.
Yeah. Thank you. It was nerve-wracking too, because like I said, I typically.
Ooh, hold on, y'all.
You want some water?
oh, my throat been dry. And when you're recording like this, it's pretty much like we're live.
Yeah.
I'm good now though. It's my allergies, y'all, so I sound kind of rough. Anyway.
But it was difficult in a way that like, I don't know, like putting your business out there and then, you know, wanting to keep work at work and private at private. So kind of like trying to kind of teasing this kind of happened in my private life into work.
Yeah.
But
we definitely try to keep the two separated.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, just to know that you, if needed, that support is there is good to know. So at least they know, hey, if you see my door closed or if I'm seem like I'm ignoring you, I'm not. I'm just in my own space right now.
I must say, I appreciate the card because I feel like without it, I would not have done what I did.
Yeah.
At all. Like I kept remembering, like I gotta complete this card by the next.
Because you know I want to ask you, or you know the people might say, hey, we've been listening to the podcast.
You can't not do it.
Right. But yeah, that's our icebreaker for today.
That is our icebreaker, and we definitely broke some ice. Okay.
Yes, and I wanna extend this to everyone else too. If you have something that you've been going through or experiencing or feeling like it's weighing on your chest and you need to let it out, it's okay to let it out. Just make sure that you let it out in a loving way. Yeah.
And that concludes our icebreaker segment, y'all. And now we are heading on over into
Sweet 223. Lego.
Hey y'all, welcome to Sweet 223. It is I, Monie, Simone, Mota, Ita, the girl with the big hair, you know, whichever you want to call me today. But in honor of Father's Day, in honor of Black men, Black kings, I have a piece that I'm going to recite, which some of you may have heard before. This poem or rap ish is cycling around the internet.
Okay.
Somewhere. So you may have seen or heard this before, but I felt it appropriate to bring it to the truth carpet for another round. Because it's been a couple of years since this piece has I read it out loud.
Okay.
So dang, should I do which version of this should I do?
Whatever you feel in your I want to say whatever you feel in your heart, but whatever you feel in your drink.
I ain't feeling that yet, but let's see. All right, so let's get into it. This is Black King. They say he's misunderstood. That's a misconception. They simply shoot him and they cuff him based on skin complexion. They throw him behind bars, assume guilty but never innocent. A victim to the system before birth is just a precedent. Irrelevant? I think not. As a Black queen, it's my duty to uplift my kings when the negative's unruly. He walks down the street, all eyes, judge and jury, yet the man is educated and involved in his community. Unity? I think not. Our Black men are still victims. No matter if they're leaders, they'll be caught up in the system. As a daughter of a Black king, I'm taking a stand to spread love all the time for the Black man. You are appreciated, underrated, educated, talented. The skills you possess are a threat and it's challenging, but keep your head up when they don't want to see you win. They'll try to label you a threat and view your strengths as sins. I'm tired of all the negativity surrounding my brothers. Don't tear them down, to turn around and try to claim that you love them. The conspiracy is eerie. Will the cycle be over? I'm down with the man that smiles with the world on his shoulders. As a Black queen, I need to support my Black king, uplift my Black king. The world hates my Black king. He's got a target on his back when what he needs is a boost. They'd rather hang him, seeing him dead around his neck with a noose. If you know a Black man, you should tell him you love him. Could be your father or your brother, best friend or your cousin. When the world beats him down, it's like a whip on his back. A reminder that his existence stays under attack because he's Black. So let's eliminate the stereotype that all Black men are thugs and just can't do right. To all my Black queens, stand with me. Let me know if you're down. To adjust our king's crown and let them know that we're proud. As the daughter of a Black king, I'm taking a stand to spread love all the time for the Black man?
Wow.
I've read that one in a while.
Yeah, I've heard this poem a few times before, and every time it's just like it's heavy. Like it's poetically smooth, and it's a rap, and it's like make you want to get into like okay, but then it's like every time it's like you get excited for the things that you say, that he's educated, he's dedicated, he's all these great things, but damn, like I can't even breathe. I can't even walk out of my house comfortable because I don't know how what you're seeing me as a threat. You clutching your purse, you're walking across the street, you're calling 911, you're doing all these things because of the color of my skin and the gender that I am. And as I say that, I'm not even just thinking about people who are white, but people who are Black as well. Like I'm in my head processing and thinking about times where I was younger and I would feel uncomfortable. Even now, honestly, it's been a while since this happened, but seeing a group of Black men, I can't say now, but like as an older person too, being nervous to walk through a group of Black men, and they can just be, they won't even probably say anything to you, but just like the thoughts of what could possibly happen and protecting yourself and holding on to your, acting like you're on the phone with somebody, like just all the things that socially we were raised to do or to think. It's sad. It really is sad. And then just thinking about like our own Black kings who we have, our nephews, who we have to, you know, let them know how strong they are, and in in that sense, but then also teach them about how to protect yourself or hold yourself if you get pulled over by the cops, whether that's pulled over walking or pulled over in a car. And it's just sad. And we think about us as people, Black men, but the Black boys too. When my nephew was, I probably said this before, but he was like really, really young, like maybe 4 or 5 years old. And I don't remember what was going on, but I remember him crying. And we were like, you know, like trying to get him to say what was wrong. And he was crying because of the color of his skin. Not that he didn't like it, but because of the fears of other people, what was going on. I think that was a little bit around the time of like the whole Trayvon Martin situation, like he was a baby, well, baby in my eyes. And I didn't like know how to comfort him or anything. So thank God for his dad, who's a Black king. I just called him like, hey, like help me handle the situation. And then basically what he told his dad was he didn't feel like people would like him because of the color of his skin. And then he was like, well, what about the color of my skin? Because they're all brown. I'm the only light skinned person in my family. And he was like, well, what about me? Do you like me? I'm brown. He said, yeah, I like you. He was like, well, what about mommy? And he said, I like mommy. And then he was like, well, mom, guess what? Mommy likes daddy. Like, you know, like making making a joke of it, and that kind of comforted him. But it's great that we can comfort one another, and we have to. That it's like it's left on us to for that duty, because the rest of the world is not going to do that. It's a sad reality that we live in. But I mean, they have to know that they are worth what they are worth, whether you have a degree, whether you don't have a degree, whether you have whatever. Like your assets don't make you great, but just because you're Black, like you're rich as fuck. Like the melanin, like look at people imitating you. Like you're dope. You're dope. So just keep your head held high. Don't let your crown fall off. I love your poem, and I don't care whether it's stuff going on in the world or not. This is something that people should read often and hear often, just to be reminded of their like who they are and have dignity and pride.
Yeah, I can't. I wrote it when I was still living in LA, so this is a few years back. But I remember around the time I was like, dang, I want to do something for Father's Day, but I really don't know what to do. And I remember one of my friends at the time had told me, you know, they were expressing that there's not enough positive images or not enough love going out to Black men. Why is it, you know, you always hear about protecting Black women, you know, or giving love to Black women.
Yeah.
But you don't hear enough about supporting and giving love to Black men because men are seen as, you know, the providers, the protectors, but at the same time, they need love and care too.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what, you got a point. So that's what inspired the piece.
Yeah.
As far as me writing, I'm like, I have plenty of Black men in my life that I love and care for, and it would hurt me to my core for something to happen to them from some type of mistaken identity situation or any type of thing.
Right.
So like aside from the pieces that I have written as far as like racism is concerned, I wanted to pinpoint on the significance that Black men actually have and place in this world. Even though through the eyes of some, they may just be seen as, you know, just this one type of character, you know, without ever even really getting to know who this man is. And there's so many qualities within him that, you know, just based off judgment and just taking like a quick glance, you would never even know. You would never even know, even with the judge a book by his cover and not even knowing what this man has to offer the world. He has plenty to offer. So shout out to Black men, Black boys out there striving, surviving, you know, protecting, providing, all of that. Like keep doing the damn thing, you know, growing and glowing in your melanin skin, okay?
Yes.
Because we love you. There ain't nobody else told you to say.
We love you.
Okay.
Yes. And if you have a Black king, a Black prince in your life, let them know that you love them. Men love hugs and kisses too. They might not say it, but they like to be the little spoons too. Show them some love. The little spoon, they like that too. So, you know, just show them some love and let them know the same way that they love on us, love on them as well.
They need love too.
Right. You know that song, girls need love, men need love too.
Did you just make that up?
It's a song. I think is it Kaylani? Let us know. But it's a song called "Girls Need Love." Ooh. No, I added that part. Men need love too. Okay. But it'd be like girls need love too. It's men need love too. The face and everything.
Okay.
I'm done. But thank you for that poem. I love it.
Yes, feel free to comment about the Black men that you love and care about in your lives below. Let us know so we can say hello. And we're moving on over into which segment?
Hot topics.
Hey, let's go.
Yes, go. Hey guys, we are now in our calf segment, which is why Monie is taking a drink because she's a little thirsty. She's a little parched. Okay. But this is our Father's Day episode where we will be talking about our experiences with our fathers and fathers plus. I just made that up. This was not our discussion that we had, but you know, just our experience as being daughters. Or bonus daughters. And let's just jump into it. This I don't know, I might get emotional, I may not. That's a warning sign, but let's see. They got so many songs about mothers, not really a lot about daddies. I know that Beyonce has, but other than that, it's a lot of mama songs. But yeah, we should probably write a daddy song. Daddy, you know I love you. You know I love you, Papa.
Oh, that works.
Papa, you're the king of my heart. All right, let's stop before YouTube think that we stole the song.
The whole thing.
Right. All right. So with growing up, or even thinking about like having your own family, watching movies, all that stuff, we hear the terminology. Daddy's little girl, daddy's little girl. What the heck does that mean? What does it mean to be daddy's little girl? I'll start.
Okay.
So I don't know. I don't know what it means to be daddy's little girl. I think that's really a feeling that a father has, to be honest. Like, because we're on the receiving end, but I feel like a daddy's little girl, to have that is to want to provide for her, to want to protect her, to want to like be silly in every little moment. I was watching a show this weekend, or this week, sorry, and a father was saying, um like in many other scenarios, you're protecting, you're providing all these things, but when it comes to your kid, if making your kid happy means that you have to put on a clown suit, or you have to be the bunny, or you have to bring a fire truck to drop them off to school, you're going to go to hell's end to make sure that you do what makes your kid happy. And I guess, like, if you think of like somebody hunched over and the little girl is inside, like whatever I got to do to protect, to provide, to see that this little girl is smiling and is happy and doesn't have anything to worry about, that's what it means to be daddy's little girl. But then on the opposite end is like nobody else matters. Like when I look at the world, I look like daddy is my world. Like daddy, the opposite. Daddy makes me smile. But daddy knows what it takes. Like he knows what what he's losing, quote unquote, losing out on. Because I guess the dad probably doesn't even see it as a loss. But like how much he's working to be able to provide, and like he's sweating like hell in that bunny outfit, but he's doing, like, it's the prize to see my little girl smiling. Oh my God, I really want to work extra hours. But it's more fulfilling for me to pick up my daughter from daycare, to see my daughter succeed, like whatever it is. And then, dang, now she graduated, and I gotta go get that pistol because I gotta protect in a different way. It ain't all about like my stern look; it's about my fists, it's about the gun. Because I know what I was like when I was younger, growing up, and how I was a dog. And I know it's probably some different type of dogs out there now. And my little girl out there, I don't know.
Like my father used to say, let them know I got a shotgun and a shovel.
Right. Okay. But that's what I think of when thinking about daddy's little girl. Just like that's your first love too. The first person that means the world to you. They always say that the man is closer to the mother, but the little girl is closer to the father. For whatever reason, I'm not sure, but I can see, maybe because they look like the boy usually look like the mother, the girl usually look like the father. I know I look like my dad. When I look in the mirror,
I've seen the flip side.
yeah, but for this side, when I look in the mirror, I'm like, dang, I look just like my dad. I'm lighter.
The baby girl on this side, she looked just like her mama. Okay.
Yeah. But what does the terminology of daddy's little girl mean to you?
Jeez. Well, like daddy will do anything. Like baby girl, just
baby girl.
You turn into putty. Like
you melt.
I've seen men that they can't say no to their daughters. Now, at some point, I'm pretty sure my father had something like no. I think,
and I'm sure that probably hurt him to say no too.
I think like just like a man having a daughter and just looking in those big, beautiful brown
hazel eyes,
but just like this little person that you made, that you're willing to do anything for, it's just, I think, because I know there's definitely a difference. I've heard this before, like between having a boy and then on the other side having a girl, like more of that like protection and like just it's just a different type of guidance. I'm not a father. I just know based on what my
I'm not a father. She did. I'm not a father. Sorry, Dad, if you're watching.
Based off what they told me, but it's just a matter of it's just willing to do anything to protect, willing to do anything to having to do what you need to do to provide. Mm-hmm. There have been times.
Sorry, y'all. I want to get a little comfortable.
I definitely can go under the category of spoiled, because there have been some times where I would ask for something I thought I wasn't getting it, but lo and behold, here come Papa. Yeah, even it's not even a matter of like being spoiled, but just being able to showing different ways that you love and that you care, like taking the time to sit and have conversations or to go places and create experiences and teaching your daughters different lessons about certain things that you may not necessarily learn from your mom. Like just different moments and conversations that you have. Like a father just taking that time to have that one-on-one.
Yeah.
Like
that was a good show, one-on-one.
Yes, exactly. A perfect example. Like some women or girls don't know what it feels like to have that experience of having a close relationship with their father, and just having certain conversations that have been able to help guide them through life. Like I'm very appreciative of the lessons that I've learned from both of my fathers. And being able to like understand do's and don'ts of certain things and how to carry myself as a lady, how to watch out for these menses that's just out for certain things. But at the same time, like when I need something, even if they don't have it, they find a way to help me get it. You know what I'm saying? So I would most definitely put myself in the category of that's the girl.
Right. So you answered my question. I was going to ask you if you consider yourself daddy's little girl, but just the way that you responded, I think it's a definitely I am.
I call my dad for all types of things.
Right.
I got a question about, or just building a great relationship. Yeah.
So for the people who are listening, you mentioned, before I answer that question for myself, you said my dad's with an S, plural. So you want to let them know?
Yes, so I have my birth father, and then I have the father that my mother married. I don't use the word step, so for those of you, I've said this before when we did the sibling episode. I don't use the word step, so I actually call him my pawpaw. I don't call him my stepfather. But sometimes when I say pawpaw, I think I'm talking about my grandfather. So. But my nephew calls him G-paw, so it's just like, that's my pawpaw, that's his G-paw. And
it's your language.
Right, that's our family language. So it's my pawpaw, my mother's husband, and then I have my father, my birth dad. So when I'll be speaking about both of them simultaneously.
Yeah. So for me, do I think that I'm daddy's little girl? For the receiving end, I would say no. Because of all the things that I said before. I would say no, that I'm not daddy's little girl, because there are moments that I don't know if I made the memories up because of stories that I've heard. So it's like, because I'm an artist, I create things in my head, or if it's like an actual memory that I have of my father. But I do remember being around like 8 or 9 when he would come back to Jersey and visit, and like certain things that we did together. I do remember those things. But in order to, I guess, if I'm like a judge and like fit in the criteria of what it means to be daddy's little girl specifically, to me, it has to be consistency there. And I didn't, in my experience, in the way that I would say, I didn't consistently have a father or daddy, because there, to me, is a difference between a father and a daddy in my life that I could depend on, that I could lean on, that I could cry to, that like could show me the ropes. I didn't have that. So, and I think that time passed. I think it's if it wasn't a DSM, there will be an age limit to being considered diagnosed with daddy's little girl syndrome. And I surpassed that. But yeah, that's my response to that. So as a child, you get to bond with your father, and that's like as a little girl. But as time trickles on, you get different birthdays and you get older, and then you become a woman. So have you had to adjust to your relationship from being daddy's little girl to, all right, I'm your daughter, but I'm an adult? Like, how?
I honestly don't feel like I had to adjust for both of my fathers. I feel like it happened naturally because, you know, as a teenager, like I have certain conversations with my dad and we talk about certain things, but we can only talk for so long, you know. But now as an adult, like we can have conversations for a while. And it's a matter of like catching up. What are you up to? You got a promotion, I got a promotion, you know? Or it's a matter of just being able to have adult conversations. Okay. And being able to appreciate how your parents can actually be your friends, be your parent and your friend. Mm-hmm. And being able to ask for certain types of advice, or I can call my dad and let him know about the guy that I've been dating and trying to get some advice, like let him know how he's been moving. And my dad can let me know, like, nah, you cut that short, or nah, he might be like, you know, keeping it real with me and like giving me the information that I need. Or, you know, when I need to remember how to fix something. Okay, what's the tool I need to use for this? Right. I kind of forgot. I'm literally under the sink. Can you tell me which way? Is it righty, tighty, lefty, look what? Yeah, that's confusing. For me, it definitely happened naturally, and it just became a way of like some conversations are easier to be had, and some of the conversations that, you know, or stories that I've heard from my dad in the past, now I understand like what they, you know, what those stories and how they have value now. So it sounds like even though you say that it's the same, there is a difference. It's matured because as a child or as a teenage person, you didn't seemingly want to be bothered. But now it's like, I appreciate every conversation that I have with you. And then the conversations are longer and the advice is hitting now, opposed to before you were like, yeah, daddy don't know. But now you're like, yo, daddy know, let me call him about this and that. So it does change. It does. It's matured with your age, which is a great thing. Yeah. So that's why I think it doesn't feel like an adjustment. I think like as I grew, I also grew with them because I have such a close relationship with both of them. It has never been a matter of do they love me, do they care about me, because they express that to me openly, which I am very grateful for, because I know there are some men who won't even utter the word love. You know what I'm saying? So I'm very appreciative to have two strong Black men in my life who love and care about me and will be there for me at the drop of a hat. That's what's up. With what I may need, even though sometimes I'm like, oh, I don't want to ask. But there have been times where I needed to reach out, and they had my back, and they let me know, like, you know, I'm always able to go back home if I need to, even though deep down it's like, okay, I don't understand. I'm always able to go back home, but they openly express how they are proud of me. And at the same time, you know, I tell them I'm proud of them, like the things that they do, and they are able to accomplish in they grown man lives, because you know they still growing and maturing the things that they do. Right. We're always continuing to elevate to new heights, no matter how old that we are. So check y'all out. Oh my gosh. I would say my relationship with my father has changed from when I was a child to who I am now. As a child, I don't remember ever hearing my mom or anybody around me say that a child stays in a child's place, but I felt like I was learned that. So as a child, I always felt like after my parents split, it was up to my father if he wanted to see me, if he wanted to spend time with me, like all these things. So I'm also emotional too. So there have been many times where I wanted to send a letter to my father or call him, just check in, like these different things. But I felt like shut down because I didn't know how it would be received, or if I would cry or get emotional, and I didn't want that. So I just learned to just not. But if he called, I would like be there to talk or something like that. Or if he visited, I would get excited. But then I grew into like middle school age, teen, like high school age, and around that time it's like a mix with some kids who had their fathers there, and then a lot of us, because I grew up in the urban environment, who didn't have their fathers, where we would tease and say that we had sperm donors in our lives, and just not knowing what it felt like to have a father there. So then that made me feel hurt, like remembering whether I said like if it was a true memory or if it's because of things that I've heard, but whatever I cycled up in my mind,
hurt because of what was and my thought of what could be, like especially seeing one of my best friends at that time have a relationship with her father, even though her parents were separated. He was there at the school events and just different things. Mind you, my father would be there for like special birthdays and graduation and everything, but he didn't live in Jersey, so it wasn't like he could always be there for every single thing. And then going to college, he would be there like when I had to get the surgery and my graduation and things like that. Like he was there like in highlighted moments, but the smaller moments count too. And that like hurt me. It was just like I kind of want to say F that. Like where's your effort in trying to build and have a relationship with me? But then maturing and seeing how short life really is, like tugged at my heartstrings. And then also realizing that I want to be a mom someday. And I wasn't able to I had great grandfather, but as far as my grandfather being there, I didn't really have that because my mom's dad moved out the country. And then my dad's dad was deceased before, like while my dad was a toddler. So I didn't really have an experience of having a grandfather be there the same way like I would want my dad to be there. So I didn't want to, if I become a mom someday, steal that opportunity from my kid because of whatever relationship I had. So the maturing factor steps in where that little girl habit that I had of wanting to write a letter or call and everything stepped in. And it was finally like, I'm just going to write this letter. I'm not going to read it back because that's what always stopped me before. Every time I read it back, I would get so emotional. I'm like, I don't want him to feel this or hear this. I would rip it up. So this time when I wrote a letter, I wrote it, didn't read it, folded up, wish her Addy, got the Addy, sent it off. And then that helped to rekindle our bond and make something. And like I told him in the conversation that we had, can't go back to where we were. And even though when you see me, you're thinking about little Yaya, I'm not her anymore. I'm a different person. So our conversations that we have and any moment that we have together is going to be different. And we had to rebuild this. And what I appreciated was that like he's not forcing me or wanting me to say dad or father, whatever I want to call him, I can call him because he understands like I don't feel that daddy's little girl thing. So I've come to say pal or amigo, like when I text him, that helps me to feel comfortable. But we're defining our relationship as adults because it's been broken at some point because of something that a child didn't have any say so or anything in. But it's a blessing to be able to rebuild that because some people, like I know that death happened before they could rebuild the bond with their father, and that's something else that I didn't want to happen. Like God forbid something happened to either of us, and it's like thinking about that, like I should have or could have or what if. Nah, let's just let bygones be bygones and let's have a conversation. So that's how my relationship matured from what it felt like for me being nothing to okay, let's work on this. Like we can set this precedent. We can define what our relationship is going to look like. It doesn't have to look like the textbook version of what a daughter and father relationship is.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm actually very happy for you because, like you said, there are some people who have waited too long or have too much pride to want to try to reach out or rebuild that relationship or allow something to continue to have that relationship broken and they don't know how to have that conversation.
Yeah.
So to say what you said as beautifully as you did in regards to
Thank you.
how you viewed the rebuilding of that foundation to have a relationship again, to start basically in a sense start over. I think that was very beautiful.
Thank you. And it wasn't easy if you're listening. If you're like in the same situation or the same boat that I was in or that I am in. It's not easy, but it takes a first step in order to get the path going, walking the path together. So whenever in due time you feel like it's appropriate or that you can do it, go ahead. Or if you got to put a blindfold on like I did and just shove the letter in the mailbox, do what you think is best for you. Do you believe the relationship that you have or had with your father influences your dating relationships with men?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
In what way?
Yes. Like I said before, so on one scale, when I talk to my dad, if I'm going through like a situation, I feel like something iffy is coming along, I'm explaining out to a T to my dad, and he gonna run it to me straight. He gonna give me the real. He gonna tell me whether it seems like they're coming up later trying to play me, or he gonna tell me this is the A scenario, this is the B scenario. Matter of fact, this is the C scenario. I'm low key talking like my dad.
My God.
But I also say yes because I'm a split them up, because my dad and my papa, they talk in two different ways.
Okay.
Two totally different personalities. So my dad, like he'll give me like the the hard, like give it to you straight.
Yeah. No filter. No chaser.
Nothing. Like I'm really curious as to what I'm gonna bring home to him, because he gonna rip that man apart. But he also knows, actually both of my fathers know this, but by the time I do bring somebody home, this is somebody that is of some type of caliber to me, because I don't bring nobody home.
Yeah.
Like I do not. So on one aspect, I've been able to look at the relationships that my mom has had with both of my fathers, and I'm able to decipher like what I would want and what I don't want. What I don't want in a relationship. Like I can see my papa and my mom, and I'm like, yeah, I'm just saying, like, that's marriage goals.
Yeah.
Like seeing like
that's what's
where they were to where they are now and how they're building and growing together. I'm like, yeah, that's marriage goals. Or like seeing them together, like walk in, and I've taken a picture of them like walking and holding hands before, like just seeing them together and how he loves and cares and provides for her. Like I'm like, yeah, that's something that's a relationship I look up to. Like I haven't, like my mom and my dad weren't married. My mom got married when she married my papa. So which I'll talk about the other part later, but what I was gonna mention. But so I look at their relationship like as something that I look up to, that I look forward to, like having something similar. Like definitely not exact, because there's no exact formula or perfection to any relationship, but that's something that I look to as far as like, yeah, I want that. But I've also seen, like, I've seen the love when I was younger, but I've seen the love between my mom and my dad. Because my papa has been in my life since I was 8. Okay. So she's big. I'm old as hell now. So that's a long time. Yeah. So I've seen the love between my mom and my dad, and I can appreciate the fact that because of me and my sisters, they've been able to maintain a relationship and able to speak to each other and still have a respectable relationship. Like I remember when I was younger, and I think it also comes with just growing, because they were young in their 20s, and I know how I was young and in my 20s, like certain things just don't turn out the way that you expect them to. So I've seen them argue, I've seen them fight, but I've also seen them laugh. I've also seen them come to an agreement. Yeah. Seen them come to a compromise. Like I've seen those things too. I've seen all different aspects of different types of scenarios of what can happen in a relationship. And as an adult, I understand why it didn't work out. So I'm like, that definitely plays a part in how I, different things that I look for in a partner, and different ways I expect to be treated, how I don't want to be treated. Yeah. But I will always reach out to Pops. Oh my God. Like, Yo, all right. So check this out. This is what happened. I'm gonna need you to run down like what's going on. Let me know what's cracking.
Yeah.
Break it down.
I never had my dad to do that with, but I had my brother who's a dad, and I looked at him as my mentor. So it wasn't always easy to go to my brother because I want to like come off like things are good. And like I said earlier, I usually keep my life private, which he said was a problem. And I got to get comfortable with bringing people around so that they can help me to vet the person and, you know, like do a little screen, like they could see. Because, you know, like when we dating, we have our eyes are like lusty kind of thing, but our friends and our family, they could see clearly what's going on better than we can, or see the yellow flags and the red flags and those things like that. But I do, like, when I think about my relationship with my father, I do think like that's the first heartbreak that I've ever had as a baby, as a, you know, toddler, that's the first person who ever ghosted me. In the eyes of a person who was used to being around my father, living with my father, getting picked up from daycare by my father, going to the dentist, like everything, dad, and then all of a sudden you're gone. So having to like, I don't know, I think grown-ups don't think of the impact that their relationships have on their children, whether you're a loving couple and things like that, or if you're a grown-up and going through discord or breakups and stuff, or having different men around, having different women around, or getting married or things like that. Like, I don't really know if it's common for the parent to say, hey, how do you feel about me being with Billy, or anything like that. It's just like they do things as grown-ups do. Just like I said earlier, a kid stays in the kid's place. A kid stays in the kid's place. Grown-ups' lives are separate. Now, the generations now are different, but with us growing up, I don't know if people really took into consideration of how Yaya must be feeling that her parents are separated. Especially at the age that I was. So I've kept that stuff to myself. But I just remember that every time something went south with a guy, I always thought the first person that broke my heart was my father. You need some water, baby.
Sorry, I'm not coughing at her, y'all. It's my allergies. I explained before.
It's okay.
Periodically. It's very random. Hold on a second. Oh, see, it didn't even come this time.
But that's I guess that's what I think about. So I can't really say that I've had a proper example of what it's like to have a solid relationship. I just remember my first boyfriend that I ever had, you know, talk about just different things. And I, at that point, was like, oh, marriage isn't for me. And then the boyfriend at that time asked why. And I said, well, because nobody in my family is married. My great grandparents are separated. My grandparents are divorced. My mom and my dad is divorced. So it's happening in patterns. And guess what? For me, it might be a divorce. I may as well not get married. I never thought that I could change the cycle or anything like that. So that's what I saw. But I'm trying to work to go against that odd. And I love now that in my family, there are now examples of people that's older, they're getting married. And my brother got married and my other brother got married. So like, okay, and they're still married. Thank God. Hope. So there is hope and there is some positive light. And I'm the one who has to change that for myself.
Yeah, absolutely. I know you will, girl.
Thank you.
Because I'm about to be at the wedding like this. Hey y'all, let's set. So
I'm not having a wedding. I'm going to go to the courthouse if I get married.
I'm about to tell y'all a story about my best friend.
Then the mic is going to go dead. All right. So the next question is, what do you admire most about your father?
Good question.
You want me to go first?
No, I can go.
Okay.
They always provided no matter what. Like, and I don't personally know like all situations that they may have gone through, or they didn't necessarily.
Isn't that the beautiful part though?
Yeah, they didn't necessarily show that they ain't have it, but they found a way to make sure that
they robbed Peter to feed gift to Paul.
Yeah, me and my sisters always had what we needed, even if it was a matter of having to to wait, or, getting what we asked for a little later. We got it at the surprise. But we not knowing that surprise took some time to, maybe, scrunch up those dollars, to get that, or, just small things. And I think I also admire the relationships that they have built with me. I admire that a lot. Like, I appreciate that I can call them whenever, I can ask them for anything. Like, they always will have my back. Like, there's no doubt in my mind from either one of my fathers as far as like me being able to count on them. And I admire that a lot about them. Like, just the fact that they are there, because I've grown up around a lot of young women who either don't know their fathers, or who just don't have a relationship. Like, they know who their fathers are, but they don't have a relationship with them at all.
Yeah.
And I feel very grateful that I have the bond that I do have. And I'm beyond blessed that I can say that I have not just one, but I have two.
Yeah.
Fathers that I can count on. Like, not a lot of people can say that. Like, it's sometimes like one might be sometime, and this is the one I talk to most of the time, I spend most of my time with. But I think for me, it's more so a matter of me admiring the fact that they've always been around. Like, regardless of whatever situation or whatever they went through, like, with my mom, it didn't keep them from being around, so yeah, I definitely admire them for being men, and being an example in my life as what strong Black men look like.
I admire my father's openness and receptiveness, because when I came to him, any person could have been defensive, or just shut down. But for him to allow me to literally like throw water I wasn't literally, but just like throw at him like all the emotion, all the stuff that I was holding and pent up at him, and to hear me and to respond and to care and to love and to actually change. That's what I admire, because I didn't know what was going to come from this. And I guess that's the beautiful part of it, is that there wasn't like something that I was like, okay, if I do this and I expect this. There was no expectations. And the way that is happened, his openness and his receptiveness is like calming, and it's like, okay, there is light with this whole thing. It's not a candle that burnt out and won't light up again. So there's some hope here. That's what I admire.
Yes, come on, admiration.
Thank you. Last question. What
the last? Okay.
Yeah, what is one difficult moment or conversation that you've had with your father?
I'll start with my papa for this one. I would say a difficult moment or moments, I would say, is adjusting to him being in our lives, like me, my sister, and my mom.
Yeah.
And like bringing like his daughter into the mix. Like, now this is my sister. I was, like I told you, he's been in my life since I was 8. When it initially happened, I was like, all right, who's this guy? Like, why? My dad, come on now. Why are you and mom not together? Like, what's going on here? I did not like him. I feel like whatever you like being in me, like it took a lot for me. I think for me it was a lot to like dislike him. And if anything like went wrong, like him and my mom, I would quickly be like, see, this is why.
Protecting your mom.
Yeah. Because it took, and there was just a lot of things that happened. And I was like, why is he around? Why is he around? I don't like him. He's not my father. I'm not calling him my father. Which is also like one of the reasons I admire him so much, is because he came into like my mom's life, but he also got me and my sister. And my mom got, a third daughter. So it was the fact that, they came together and created this entirely new family. And despite the fact of how I may have felt about it, how rude I may have been, how crazy I may have
don't want to imagine. Jesus.
how unruly I may have been, that man stuck around and is still around with my mom. And it just took some time for me to grow and understand, because I was literally a child.
Yeah.
Trying to understand like why I can't my mom and dad
right
like that, like it literally
why are things changing,
right? Even though part of me understood why, it was just a matter of like, okay, but y'all could fix it, y'all can work it out. Why is this happening? I don't like this.
Yeah.
So it definitely took some time for me to learn, adjust, and appreciate my mom having her husband, her life partner, and being able to build a true relationship with him. I honestly can't remember like the moment that it flipped, because it wasn't elementary school. It may have been, maybe started somewhat in middle school a little bit, but it definitely took some time for me to actually like build and grow a relationship and actually like want to call, have a conversation, sit down, talk, have a conversation without feeling as if you're trying to replace my father. So like building that bond was like, I had several difficult moments in regards to building that. And then I would say one with my father, my dad, there have been a few different moments where, I just, when I'm really passionate about something, I just don't know how to shut my mouth. And I don't know how to, end a conversation, so to speak. So there have been many arguments that me and my father have gotten into that have turned into more than what it should have been. And, I had to, chuck that one up to being is a battle that I cannot win. Like I'm technically still his child, and he is my father. And there's just some lines and boundaries that you do not cross with a parent child relationship, regardless of how heated a conversation might be. But there have been a moment or two where, I have crossed the line. And definitely came off as if, I knew more than I knew. And regardless of the fact of how old or how grown I may think I am, one moment in specific when I think it was my first summer back from college. And after being gone for a while,
think you grown.
Exactly. I can't remember exactly how it started, but my dad basically had to put me back in my place.
Yeah.
And let me know that, my shit do stink. And that was hard for me because growing up, like my dad, he didn't whoop us. He did not whoop us, but when he did have to like he did put his hands on us, it was a matter of like, you messed up. If you got dad to a point where it's like, all right, look, I gotta hold you a certain way or hold you down, or remind you that I am your father, like you crossed the line. So yeah, so there's definitely been some moments, but that moment in particular when I came back from school and he had to like remind me, like, hey, you know what, you stop talking. Stop, you need to. That was a hard one for me. I won't forget that one, but yeah.
I think the most difficult conversation with my father was the last one that we had with the reuniting situation, because for different reasons, like I guess for him just tiptoeing on conversation throughout the years, because he knew that I was a child. So not wanting to say certain things as a child, as an adult to a child. But then as an adult, you don't have to really filter anything. But then me too is like on the fence of, man, F this, I don't care. Like I went all these 20 something years without this bond. What do I need it for? But then some like kind of still yearning for it. So just literally packing my emotions, packing my bags, literally driving to meet halfway on the East Coast to have the conversation. Just wanting to flee. Like even when I got down there, I was like, I can't do this. I want to leave. But I drove down there for a reason. I wrote that letter for a reason. My dad responded and actually opted to meet halfway and have the conversation in person opposed to the phone or letters. And it meant something for him too. So that's what got us both out there to have the conversation, but it wasn't the easiest. It wasn't the easiest thing. It was scary. It was a lot of in my head, like when we first got there and when we were eating, and like in my head, I'm like, when is this conversation going to start? When is it going to start? When is it going to start? And then when it finally happened, it's like a lot of emotion coming out, a lot of bawling of tears, a lot of you didn't, or you couldn't, or you weren't, and like just like all of that stuff. But letting it out, it was hurtful because I don't want to say anything to hurt anybody. Like in general, I just hold things in because I don't want to, like, I know it could be a bullet to somebody, so I'll just sever myself. But I've done that for so many years, so just to let that out was kind of like, oh. Yeah. But it definitely helped to change our relationship and our dynamic, and I'm grateful for it. So that's what's been difficult for me. That's the end of our questions for our hot topic segment. And yeah.
Wait, I'm gonna share one more real quick.
Okay.
I feel kind of sad right now. Okay. I mean, it's basically it's answering the same question, but okay. So remember I told y'all that I had like a difficult like time like adjusting to like my mom being with my papa, and it's like I want to be with my dad. I don't want to live here. I want to live with my dad. I don't want to be here no more. Mm-hmm. So one time my mom was like, "Oh, you don't want to be here?
Oh, my mom did that too.
You want to go with your dad?"
I was like, "No, I'll stay here."
She was like, "All right." I was like, "Yeah, we're gonna." She's like, "All right, we're going right now."
No, I said when that happened to me, I said, "No, I'll stay."
So she I don't remember what time it was. But we got in the car. I'm thinking, yeah, I'm going to my dad's house. I ain't gotta live here no more. Go to my dad's house. That man was waiting at the door with a belt.
Oh God. That is not changing it to not sad.
Sorry. It's funny to me now.
It's not funny.
Cause my dad, that's the one time he's ever whooped me. Like whooped me and then sent me back to my mama.
Oh my God.
I was so
Y'all,
happy.
I'm sorry. I thought this was gonna be a happy moment, but it's not.
I wasn't trying to make a happy moment, but I was just saying, in light of, it's funny to me because thinking back on it now, it's kind of like you really thought you were about to say at your dad house that you acted up like that. No, dad told that.
But that's a good part too with the mom and dad dynamic too of co-parenting. Like you're not about to, you disrespecting your mom. Oh no, that's not okay. You disrespecting your dad. Oh no, that's not okay. Like even though we're separated, we're still parenting you. We still want the best for you, and you need to behave, one, and two, show respect. So shout out to those Black parents.
They wasn't playing that night. Now go back home, lay your ass down, go to sleep.
Lay your head on that pillow and go to bed.
Right.
All right.
But so did your mother.
Oh my God. Thanks y'all for listening. All right, let's go to our next segment.
Ooh, we going to the dorm story.
Yes.
Yeah. Here we go, yo. What the heck?
I was like, what's the song? I was like, in my head, I was like, it's time for an announcement. Then you started singing the song. I was like, wait, okay, I'm gonna throw it into the dream. She wasn't ready.
She was literally sitting there like this, even as I started moving. She was not moving. She was.
Because I was like, what song is it? I go.
Anywho, it's. Dang it, now you got me singing the wrong song.
Here we go, yo. Here we go, yeah. So what's the scenario? In today's scenario segment.
In today's dorm story segment, while she's trying to take over my intro.
God, my bad.
We are going to be discussing our favorite moments that we have with our father. Because after the end of the last one, we need some joys and some smiles in the room. Hey, Anywho, would you like to go first with your favorite moment?
No, you got two dads, so you go, because it's going to take longer.
Oh my goodness, it's not going to take that long. Yes, so I'll start with my papa. One of my favorite moments that I have with him is when he was taking me to practice my basketball move. We would go to the court and he would help me perfect my skills. Getting that left hand right, getting that right hand right, like teaching me how to, maneuver on the court around the time that I was playing basketball. I would never forget that. We were in Oakland, so it was somewhere in the Oakland Hills, some lot. I don't remember.
Oh my gosh.
I don't remember, but it was, in my mind, like I can see it. I can't remember exactly where it is, but it's somewhere in the Oakland Hills. And he took me up and helped me perfect my basketball skills. And at some point, I was actually able to make one of the left-handed layups in the game.
Okay,
Monie. Because I practiced my free throws, practiced my threes, practiced my dribbling, practiced all of that. So that's like one of like the great memories I hold near and dear to my heart. Is him taking me out on the court to practice to make sure I was ready for the games. So that's special to me. And then I would say one that I have with my dad is us watching movies and shows together. Like I grew up like watching all kind of movies with my dad, like lots of Black films. But like my favorite is like sitting and chilling with my dad and watching movies and TV shows. Like one of the things that we would do, he would call it, I think it was like Ratchet TV Thursday or something. I can't remember what day of the week it was. But we would watch like all the reality TV shows that was coming on, Basketball Wives or whoever else was coming on, Black Ink, blah, blah, blah. Can't remember what else.
That's cool.
Yeah, we did that. And I think like when we weren't together anymore, I think one of the first, I hope I get this right. When we weren't together in the same house, the first show that we started watching and talking back and forth about was Breaking Bad. And we still do that.
That's
so
cool.
My dad is he's still waiting for me to finish a couple of shows so we could talk about it. So after we finish watching the episode, we talk about it, break down the episode, predict what's gonna happen next, what you like, what you didn't like. So
catch up, Monie.
I need to catch up. My dad is like waiting for me to catch up on these shows because another season. So yeah, that's my favorite memory that continues to be a favorite memory with
cute.
My dad is watching shows. And now since we're not together, we have to do a debrief on the show.
For real, because you behind. That's cute.
I'm gonna catch up soon, Dad. I promise. As soon as school is over and I got my summer break, I'm catching up on all the shows, and then we're gonna discuss it because the next season of Raising Katie is coming up. So I got to be ready for that.
She has homework. She has summer homework.
I have summer homework, so my dad can stop asking me if I finished it.
Okay. I was trying to go through my memory bank real quick. That's why I let you go first. That's one of the reasons why I let you go first. But I will say one of the most recent memories that I have with my dad was when I was dating someone. I wanted to tell my father about it, and I wanted to talk about it with somebody. And I just remember texting him saying, "Hey, I started dating someone. I want to talk to you about it." And that was different. Like I've never done that before, even as far as like my mother or any other family member. Like my girls, yeah, but my family, no. So that was like something not just new for me and my relationship with my father, but just new in general for me to say, hey, I started, not that I'm dating someone, but I started dating somebody and I want to talk to you about it, and actually having that conversation. But then too, shout out to him for not like listening and then just like just trying to keep things happy, but keeping things true and valid. Like, I don't know, Yaya, that don't sound like, even though I was honestly like, things did feel off to me at that moment, but I was still trying to like look at the the brighter part of it, but I still told the whole like he does this, but this, or he does this, but he stays doing whatever, and it's just like I don't know. It sound like this and it sound like that, but I know you're gonna do what you want to do, but just like keep your eyes open for this one. So even though like whatever happened, it was just nice to like, yo, this is what it feels like, kind of thing, to have a heart-to-heart dating, talking about boys situation with my father. So that was nice. That's one of my greatest greatest moments. And that's it.
That was quick.
For what segment was this again?
This was the dorm
segment,
which is before the announcement segment, which we are about to head over into right about now.
And that's on Betty Boop.
Who?
Monie. Okay, let's go.
It's time for announcements. It's time for announcements. It's time for announcements. It's time for announcements. Now we in the right segment.
Yes, and I was ready with my dance. I want to say thank you to the co-host and the host of Unpacked and Detangled for having us during their friendship episode of their podcast.
Yes.
It was such a great time being on the other side of the mic.
Right, that was our first feature.
Our first feature of a podcast, and it was a great conversation. Just talking about our relationship with one another and the difficulties, the ins and outs of not becoming friends, because I guess it wasn't that hard to become friends with you, but just maintaining our relationship over the years that we've been friends. And the distance too of over 900 something miles, being apart, the different time zones, just staying afloat. So shout out to Dr. Ronald Love and my God, dang, why can't I think of her name right now? I'm so sorry. Deanna. Thank you. I'm thinking Dr. K. Thank you, Ron and Deanna, for having us on your show. If you don't listen to their podcast, if you haven't heard of it, it's Unpacked and Detangled. Make sure that you listen to them either on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. It's a dope podcast. I didn't just listen to the episode that I'm on. I listened to several of their episodes, and it's really good. So tap in. A doctor, black doctors, man and woman. So shout out to them for doing the damn thing.
Yes, absolutely. And y'all, you know we cannot have an announcement segment without letting you know about a sale, because Juneteenth is coming up. So you know we don't have a sale for y'all for Juneteenth weekend.
Yes.
Let me think. That's at 17th, 18th, 19th. Matter of fact, we're gonna say 17th, 18th, 19th.
And 20, because I'm off of work on the 20th.
Okay, because we off work and we outside.
Yes.
So the Juneteenth sale is gonna be no code needed. It's gonna be site-wide. Everything on the website is going to be on sale. Make sure you log on to www.loveloud.com/shop, okay, and get to shop until you start dropping.
Okay.
Because I site is on sale, okay?
Yes.
Shop.
Yes.
Nothing is gonna be at regular price.
Okay. And what's also going on that same weekend is Father's Day.
Yes.
So we want to wish all the fathers out there a happy Father's Day. Whether you're going to go to church on that Sunday, whether you're going to go out to eat on that Sunday, whether you're going to the Juneteenth festivities like we are, because we're not dads, so we're going to be there. But you know, shout out to all the fathers out there, whether you're a father, whatever. Maybe you're
not a father or whatever.
I mean, because they could be a plant dad, they could be a dog dad, they could be a dad, it could be a granddad. Dad. They could be a waiting for the baby to be born dad. Like, it's mad dads, you know.
It is mad dads.
Mad dads, happy dads on that day. Yes, happy Father's Day.
Who this episode is dedicated to, because you know, Father's Day is approaching. So
yes.
Father's Day, Juneteenth, that's a hell of a day.
Yes. And speaking of June, our question of the month
is, what is your theme song for for summer 2022.
Summertime.
Summer is coming. When is summer? June 20th, June 21st, one of those days. All we know is right after Juneteenth, summer is going to officially hit. And we want to know, what is the song that's going to have you rocking and rolling and being outside all summer long, jamming in your car with your hair blowing in the wind, dancing at the party, bending your knees, you know, getting down to the ground.
Or maybe not bending your knees. Not everybody could probably bend their knees.
Well, I probably shouldn't be bending my knees either. But as long as I take my medication,
what's going to have you grooving and in the mood for this summer? Let us know down below in the comments or on our Instagram page. And I'm trying to figure out what my song is. So if you have any recommendations or anything, let us know in the comments. We're going to take a listen. And of course, soon we will be posting our response to our question of the month.
Make sure you look out for that. And then, you know, we're going to enter you to win for a discount code. So you can get something at the LoveLoudd shop as a gift for yourself.
Or somebody else. And if you enjoy our podcast, if you like listening to us, whatever it is, or if you enjoy anything else that we do, hey, we got a lot of stuff going on. Make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure that you follow us on Instagram. Make sure you subscribe to this. Can you subscribe to Instagram? I don't know, but if you can, do it. Okay. Make sure that you can follow us on Instagram. Make sure that you tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend. Maybe you don't like. Well, you like podcasts if you're listening.
Right, you listening to us?
Yeah, my bad.
But another friend that don't listen to podcasts that haven't listened to us yet, that they should listen too.
Yeah, share this episode with your father too.
Yes.
Ooh, listen to this episode with your father.
Listen to the
Play
episode
it back
with your father.
Yes.
Listen to it with him.
Yes.
That's a great idea.
And if you know of any events that's going on in the tri-state area, let us know. We will be down to participate.
We are down to travel. You see, she said tri-state area. You know it.
Area.
It ain't specific to one city or state.
Right.
So please let us know about events as far as, you know, we can bend somewhere, we can spit a little something at an open mic, you know what I'm saying? Or you just having a cookout because baby, we love to eat. We want to come. I don't know why I just laughed.
But yeah, thank you for your support. Thank you for following us and listening to us. And this is another fun episode. We're on episode 9. So thank you.
And the season
continues. So
this conversation, we got to know more about the relationship that we have had with our fathers. We've never actually had a conversation like this before.
Right.
I feel like the podcast
and it's recorded.
Right. And the podcast actually has been opening up more conversations that we've never had, which is very interesting.
Which is dope. I like it too. I love it. Stay tuned. See you in 2 weeks. Stay black.
Stay proud.